And then here, oh no, don't tell me this is too small still. Okay, that's not going to work. Hey, that's better. Alrighty, well, look who's coming to dinner. Yeah, I don't know, I've heard that somewhere before. This is actually kind of a true look who's coming to dinner thing. Not necessarily coming to dinner, but the story behind this car that I'm about to show you is he was driving by and he heard a big bang and there was water and smoke everywhere. Yep, so he decided, since I have a bunch of cars here, I might be able to help. And he's right, I can. So anyway, this car has been parked in my yard for a couple of days, and I told him I would get to it this weekend. And it has been a video-filled weekend, I'll tell you. We did the daughter's car, the transmission service on it. I went to the show yesterday. I hope you enjoyed that. Jeez, that was a loud diesel. But anyway, now I'm fixing to head out right into my own backyard, well, side yard, and show you a car that I'm fixing to work on, and I'm going to let you watch because we're going to try to fix it with all junkyard parts. Don't know if I can. He would like me to keep it on the cheap because he just bought the car. The guy literally bought the car, was driving it home, and this happened. And needless to say, it was not any fault of the car. It's more along the lines of whoever put it together either lacked strength or just forgot to tighten a few things. Yeah, so let me show you what I'm talking about. Enough chit-chatting here. This is just a hello, welcome to YouTube, welcome to my channel. Of course, you people that are already members, well, you know who I am. So, hello, good morning. It's Sunday morning / afternoonish, shortly after church. And I've had a couple of people come by, I had to sell some parts, but now I'm getting ready to work on this car, and you're going to love what you're going to see. Well, here she is. 1967 GTO. He actually admitted it was a Tempest, but it's a GTO clone. Very, very nice car. Interior, it's got that old 80s crushed velour thing going on here. And that'll probably tell you right there what part of the problem was with this car. But it's pretty sweet. He's got this thing hooked up. I like it. If you like modifications, they did a nice job. And they even matched the dashboard with the decor on the seats. It's got a reverse valve body shifter, so that's going to be, I got to remember on that. This car is very, very nice. He told me that he traded a El Camino and a couple of $1,000s for this. I'm going to see if any of you all... This hood's weird. There we go. Look at that hood latch. Isn't that weird? You got to grab these little two hickeys and pull forward. It's goofy. Anyway, everything looks good, right? And then you go down a little further. And uh-oh. Something's missing. No belt. That's the one that was sitting in the front seat. This is just gone. And so now, if we look, ow, that's not good. And it took out the tranny lines too. And that lower radiator hose is no more no good. So, while a beautiful car, somebody forgot to tighten the water pump pulley bolts. And it just went south. It's got one of these guaranteed to leak deals on there. And it's got another, I don't even, is that one hooked up? Yeah, that's hooked up. That one would be okay. So, we'll get a little bit more look-see at this. I don't know, I'm the world's worst photographer. Here we go. She's a pretty one. She just wandered into my life. She's got a few nicks and bumps, but nothing horrible. And I don't know if the wind is going to ruin this video like it does all the other ones, because I'm outside. But she got a little rust in the quarters. Not bad, though. Well, you're going to get the privilege of watching me wrench on this a little bit today. I'm fixing to pull it in the shop and see if we can't come up with some parts. It's like, I don't know if I can come up with parts or not. I've got, I don't really have very many parts cars, Of course, they're all Mopar. So that could be a problem. But maybe we'll make this goat go a little faster. Maybe I should give this project to a sleeper dude, right? Isn't he the one with all the goats? This is the kind of goat he needs to get. Anyway, let's get her started up, pull her in the shop, because she'll run without a water pump for a short time. Get her in the shop and see if we can't dig up some parts. Now, you may or you may not have noticed, it doesn't have a Pontiac engine. Good old Chevrolet. Well, can't beat a trusty Chevrolet. Although, for a car like this, it would have been nice to see a, poncho pack underneath it. But it is what it is. Not my car, right? So, anyway, we're just going to try to gather up some parts here locally, like in my backyard kind of thing, and see if I can't get this fixed and maybe fix some of these fishamajigs that have been done in here with bolts that are too long, so they use a jam nut instead. Broken washers. Maybe put this car together so it won't fall apart next time. It does look like the water pump's been weeping a little bit, but we won't know till we put any juice in it. So, well, that's where we're going to go, I guess, with this. We did find the pulley, yay. So we're going to have to do a tiny bit of work to it so it doesn't cut the new belt. But we're going to start with pulling the radiator out because the radiator's, shall we say, not good. So we're going to start by pulling this out. We'll get the radiator hose off. I'm just going to cut the bottom hose because it's pretty much cut already. So I'm just going to finish the little half-inch left that's still together. But anyway, let's get started. I think I can actually use standard size sockets. Woohoo! Golly, those modern cars and their metric wrenches. Jeepers. couple. And, oh, screwed up driver. Wow. Seriously not a good way to mount a radiator. But let me get a knife and finish off that radiator hose. Alright, now if you'll notice, the pulley's got some sharp edges where she got dinged up a little as she flew south for the winter. So I'm just going to kind of take my file. I know all you machine guys are going, files only cut one direction. I know that. But it's just so much easier to do it this way. I'm just feeling to make sure there's no sharp edges, you know? We don't need it. It'll cut my finger. It'll cut the belt. Fingers heal. Belts, however, strand you on the side of the road. Same with this side. Got a couple of rough spots here. So it's always, you know, stick your finger. Ooh, that's a rough one right there. Always stick your finger in the groove to see if it's, you know, going to cut anything. If it draws blood, probably got to fix it. You don't like my methodology? You can't understand why. But, see? That was bad. But that was actually from the radiator. So I'm just going to run my fingers along the edges here. Still a little sharp on the top here. Not worried too much about the top, except for whoever's working on it might cut their hand on it. We wouldn't want that either, would we? You bored already? Well, in that case, I'll finish what I'm doing on this. Spare you the with the file. And when I'm done, then we'll go put it on the car and find some bolts, find a fan. I think I got a fan in the back on an old truck. So we'll see if we can make that work, see if it's too big. If it hits the hood, probably won't work, but let's go ahead and I'll finish doing this. No sense you watching me saw on this thing for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then we'll go find some parts out in the yard. And then we'll see if we can't put this thing back together. Imagine that. This is the one and only Vega square body. Nope, just kidding. It's the Vega hood trying to keep the engine dry. And I think I can get this fan out. There we go. That ought to work. I hope. And that car also had a power steering pump that somehow lost its belt. And there's a power steering belt right here. So we'll go ahead and steal that because here's a well, it was only a single pulley, so that wouldn't have worked. But we found the pulley, thank God. I'm going to take this belt off of here so we can at least see if it's going to be the right one. And if it is, then we can order a new one. But for now, that one should do the job. I'm going to go ahead and get my trusty ratchet. It's off screen here. Of course, I didn't bring any extensions. Probably be a lot easier to work on if I took the hood off. And we may do that. But for the moment, we're going to do it this way, struggle, because it's just how I am. You know, y'all talk about lowering vehicles and putting them in the weeds. You don't got to do that. Just let the weeds grow up to the car. Of course, I didn't bring an extension, so won't be able to get at that one. You know, yep, that's the one I gotta get to. And I don't have an extension. So, I gotta walk the 1.5 miles back to the shop and get an extension. When will I learn? 2 hours later, I got one. Okay, not quite 2 hours, but uh-oh. Hay fever. Yeah. Lance, the bike's back. Oh man, that's a... There we go. Golly. Yeesh. Oh, goodness. Goodness, the Murgatroyd, Batman. Wowza. Alright. Not gonna play nice. Hood's coming off. All this for an old fan belt. Wee. Ow. Ugh. Shin scraper. I also need to make sure you take care of that properly. Alright, now what I also need are these. These are the bolts for that long fan. I'll need those as well. Yeah, which put them in the pocket. There we go. Now to get this bolt out, man, that thing was on. all it took was a little bit of positioning. Come on now. We've been on there a day or two. Yep. There we go. That's got, oh, I don't know, 10 miles left to it. Okay. Now we'll put the hood back on and head back to the shop. That's perfect. It's supposed to sound like that. So anyway, let's clean this up, put the hood back on, head back to the shop. Alright, I've got that brand new old stock junkyard belt in here, and the bolt that was on it didn't even have a washer. So I went and fetched a washer, put this back in here. I can't believe this guy was driving this thing without power steering. It was a bear to steer this thing just getting it in the garage. Alright, so I think this will work now. If I can get it on. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's this one. Well, that might be a little short. Dang it. Alright, well. There's actually supposed to be 2 belts on here. This one's going to be too short. So let me see if I can find one just a little bit longer. All that work for nothing. I went to go put the fan bolts in and found out that these holes are all stripped out because I don't know if it was because the other one came out and the last just boogered up the threads in the beginning, or I don't know. But anyway, they're all boogered up. So I've got to run a tap through all of them. And this one's getting started pretty easy. And I may have already done this one. I did the other 3 before I turned the camera on. And so I'm just running this one through now. This one wasn't too bad. I think I went in order, so it shouldn't have been a big problem. But I'll check them all here in a second. That one went right in. I'm thinking that maybe I didn't. No? I think I did them all. Yep. So that last one wasn't as bad as the rest of them. Yep. Well, that one's got a little sticky on it, so let's go ahead and give her a little cleaning up here. Yeah, that one had a little burr on it. Alright, now the moment of truth is going to be putting the bolts in there. Tap's nice and sharp, so it'll make its way in no matter what. The bolts, however, have to go in. Okay, I think tomorrow's going to have to be clean the shop day, because wow, this is a mess in here. I don't know if I'm going to get this one done today or not, or we'll have to continue tomorrow. If I can find the bolts, we'll be good. Yoo-hoo! Here's one of them. Alright. Oh, look at that. Like butter. Look at that. Alright, now, here's the problem. I couldn't find a belt to fit this. I found one that was slightly too big and one that was just slightly too small. So I need one in between. I'm going to have to run to the auto parts store, which is, about 12 miles. So not too bad. And I did forget to stop at the pharmacy and pick up my prescription. So I got to go there anyway. So I've got 2 reasons to go into town. But I kind of wanted to go ahead and put the pulley and the fan on, at least temporarily, to see if my radiator fitment works out. So we're going to have to do a little trial and error here momentarily. So let's go ahead and do just that. Let's put the pulley. Studs are so much better. No, I'm not talking about guys that are studs. Cheapers crow. I'm talking about instead of bolts, you use studs. Because they just work out better. Because you can't get your face in here to see. And I can't. There we go. Get one caught. And get that lined up. We'll try to get another one caught. Well, except for I don't know what I do with the other bolts. Jeez, wheeze, Edith. Oh, I think I found him. Hang on. Alright, that one. That one's not quite as friendly. But she'll go in. How about that one? Oh, yeah. Alright, so those are all four lined up. Now, unfortunately, we've got to take all four out. But at least we know that the pulley is lined up. So we should, in theory, okay, what I'm going to do, because I'm going to put a mark right here. Because I know I'm going to lose those bolts as soon as I start to put the fan on. So hang tight, I'm going to make a mark. I know it's a black marker, but it'll still work. See? You can see it. At least I can. Alright, now get the fan. Line that up. And hope it didn't move. Well, dippity dog do, it worked out. Alright. Almost like I knew what I was doing. Well, let's not get crazy. The washer is stuck. That worked. To clean these up on a wire wheel. We got them all started going in finger tight. And I'll get a socket, which I think they're 7/16. Well, nope, make it 1/2 inch. I've been wrong before. Once or twice. Or 1,500 zillion times. I don't really want to use my pneumatic, but it's the only thing I got handy. So we're just going to gently Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. It's a wonderful world we live in. Alright. I've got a jack underneath here so that I can set my radiator in it. And what I'm checking for is radiator clearance. Not radiator springs. No, no, no. Radiator clearance. Come on. Which I do have on this. Come on. Uh-oh, which I don't have. Well, that's what we were checking. Nope. Because for whatever reason, this radiator lays back a little bit. So that isn't going to work. Yay. So much for that one. Now, let's see. I've got another radiator see, the way the other one was, and now I could do the same with this. The other radiator that I took out of here was trimmed here, and then it fit in because the core size will fit in between. So they trimmed this off of here, and then they mounted it with this, which looks like what I'm going to have to do here. Once I cut this, though, they actually just bent it out of the way. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get a zip wheel, and I'm going to have to bend that, and that'll put that radiator inside of here. Oh no, but this one won't work if I do that. Okay, back to the drawing board. I guess we're going back to look for another radiator. This one worked only if I did it in the front. The other one works, but the brackets are inside of here, and so it won't. Yeah, I'd have to make brackets to come out to mount it. That was a nice big one though. But I'm going to go see if I can find another one. I've got radiators everywhere, so that one's not going to work. The other one I've got fits in here, but it sits too tall. So we're back to the drawing board on a radiator. I just got back from the store. Had to get a couple of belts. I had to go to 2 different stores because there's 2 belts, and the one auto parts store only had 1 belt. So I had to go to another store to get another belt. 2 different brands. Hopefully they're close to the same size. They also don't have a listing. Can you believe that an auto parts store doesn't have a listing for a GTO, a 67 GTO? Isn't that like common? I mean, they're everywhere, aren't they? Nah, they're not. Just messing with y'all. Don't you have a sense of humor? Gosh. Alright, well anyway, this is what's left of the other hose. There's probably about this much missing off of it because, you know, the fan went through it. So I got this one. A little bit longer, but the angle's almost perfect. The only thing that is, this has got a little crook going on one side, going that way just slightly. This, however, does not. Well, maybe. Nope, wrong way. So, we're just going to have to deal without that little slight bend backwards, but I think we're going to be fine. You know, it'll flex that much without giving me any trouble. So, we're going to have to make one. I got to wait for the radiator to come in before I do that because I'm not 100% sure just how. It's probably going to cut right here, right here. But I'm not sure, so I'm going to wait till the radiator comes in. I had to order that. It's coming from Holly, and so we'll see how good our folks from Holly treat me. I usually go through a middleman, but we decided to go ahead and open up an account with Holly and go from there, but see how they treat me. So far so good. Can't beat it. See how their service is, I'll let you know. But in the meantime, I'm going to pull the car up over here. I was going to do it right in place. It's out in my graveyard. But I'm going to bring it here because there's wind. And I don't know if y'all realize or not, you've probably heard enough of my videos where you can hear the wind going by the microphone and it just doesn't sound good. So I've got wind again today. I can feel a little breeze coming in on my back right now because outside is there, shop is there. But it's nice out, so I want to kind of be outside, so I'm just going to pull the car in to the edge of the shop so I can keep the camera in the shop. That'll hopefully keep the wind noise down. I'm going to put these 2 belts on. These go on the power steering pump. And then there's 1 belt that we actually recovered from the accident scene, or from the carnage scene, whatever you want to call it, when the bolts fell out of the fan. And so we salvaged that one. It looks pretty new, so we're just going to reuse it. And we're going to put these 2 brand new ones on. I'm going to get the car ready so when the radiator shows up, I can just slide the new one in there, cut my hose to length, and then call my customer and let him get his car back. So anyway, this is going to be this is a Monday afternoon. This is Labor Day? No, not Labor. I always confuse them. It's, yeah, one of them holidays. Nonetheless, I'll think about it before the end of the video. Happens when you get old. More falls out than stays in. Anyhow, I'm going to go pull the car up. We'll get these belts on here. And then the next scene you're going to see is going to be me putting the radiator in. Sound like a plan? It's a plan. Memorial Day. Time to put on the belts. These are not so bad because you have to put them here and then here. Oh no. Don't tell me this is too small still, because this is slightly bigger than the last one. Oh man. Don't tell me that. She's all the way down. She was just slightly longer than the other one and slightly shorter than the first one. Oh me, oh my. But it's not the right one. Great. Let's try take two. Alright, I thought I was just going to go there and order what I needed, what I thought I needed, but I'm going to have to get more technical about it. This one's just barely too long. So, I'm going to cut it. Because, you know, if it's too long and you cut it, man. Come on here. I need a sharper knife. Good heavens to Murgatroyd, Batman. Heavens to Murgatroyd. My goodness. My butt's getting kicked by a fan belt. I don't think this one was ready to break anytime soon. Might have to get a sharper knife. Good heavens. There we go. One more. There we go. Nope. Make that two more. Yay! Okay. Phew, anyway. So, what I'm going to do is I've got this in the lowest setting, but I think what I want to do is I want to put it into the medium setting. So I'm going to get my ratchet, I'm going to put this in the medium setting, I'm going to put the belt around it, then I'm going to mark the belt to the length I need. I'm going to hold this up in the medium position. Alright, that's half and half. And I'm going to put the belt around the pulley. Make sure she's where she needs to be, and she's not. So, of course, I didn't get a marker, so give me a second. Okay, back in a flash. So I'm going to pull this snug. There we go. Make sure that it is in pulley everywhere. And then I'm going to make a mark. At the length I need. Alright. And we're going to get a measuring tape and we're going to measure the length I need. I would love to blame the parts guy for this, but no, this is my own stupid attack. I don't know why I didn't do this to begin with. I don't even know. I don't even know. So now we're just going to run this like this. Run it along the tape. And it says 39. So 39 inch. And actually the parts guy kind of helped me out. He goes, well, that belt that you bought was a 36. I'm like, I said, well, we measured it. And he goes, yeah, but the way you tell is the part number. The second number, the second two numbers, are the length. I'm like, duh, I didn't ever do that. So there you go. You learned something new. In fact, let me get a belt and I'll explain that to you. I just learned this today, so I'm going to learn you today. I've been doing this for God knows how many years, and I never knew this. But the part number, if you look, 746, right? Well, the 7 is nothing. The 46, that's how long it is. So this is a 46-inch long belt. Well, knowing that, I'm armed and dangerous, right? Because I now have a tryout belt. I've used string before, and it's never accurate. The string falls too deep into the groove, or even rope. You can use a little bit thicker rope, but it usually falls too deep into the groove, and you don't get an accurate measurement, okay, because I've tried that before. So I decided to go ahead and do this, and now that I understand how the part numbers work, I know I'm going to order a 39, right? I might be able to get away with a 38.5, because 39 is right in the middle, right? But I think if I go with a 39, that'll put me pretty good adjustability, you know what I'm saying? Ability. So I'm going to call the parts store, see if they'll be kind enough to deliver them amidst my stupidity of driving into town. I had to go into town anyway, so that's why I did it. And I had to find that hose. That would have never happened without me going there. But now, folks, knowing what I know now, that should help you to do a belt. If you've got an old belt that you can cut, great. If not, try to get a piece of rope the same thickness and do the same thing. I've done it with string/rope. It always falls too deep into the groove, and I'm off a little bit. But I guess with that being said, you could always move it a little further up or down. If it falls deeper into the groove, it's going to be smaller than it really should be. So yeah, so you want to move it. Instead of doing a halfway, you might want to go all the way, and then you use your rope, or almost all the way, and then check with your rope, because it'll be slightly fatter than that. So anyway, there's a little bit of how-to on the old belts, right? In the meantime, I've got to eat a little crow. That's kind of normal for me anyway, right? Because if I did everything perfect right from start to finish, y'all be knowing something's up. It'd be like, yeah, he's an imposter, right? I've got to do stuff bass-ackwards because that's just the way I am. I eventually get it finished, and usually it works out pretty good, but I sometimes struggle getting there, if you know what I mean. But there we go. This would be a 46. 39. Oh, wait a minute. You know, I'm an idiot. Yep. I actually took the measurement from the end of this. This is a 39. Somebody stop me, right? So let's try this again. Hello. It's a 38. That 1 inch made the difference. Actually, it's 37 3/4 to be exact. So 37 3/4. So probably 37.5 would be ideal. Wow, almost screwed myself over again. I'm an idiot. Anyhow, maybe I shouldn't work on cars today. This might be one of those days. Had some sleepless nights. No excuse. This should be like no-brainer stuff for me. But anyhow, there we go. Because I actually took the measurement. I made my little mark here. I don't know if you can see that. It's right there. But I actually measured the end of the belt. Duh, that was stupid. But anyway, I'm going to go call a parts car, right? The parts store. Let's see if I can get a couple of those coming. In the meantime, I'm going to just go make a phone call. Finally got the right belts. Got them on. Tension looks good. A lot of times when I'm testing a belt, I'll just twist it. And if I can twist it so that it's sideways, not completely around, but just sideways, then I know the tension's just right. If it's too tight and you can't twist the belt, then it's too tight. If you can twist it all the way around upside down, then it's not good either. But if you can twist it just so it's sideways a little bit in the middle, that's about perfect. Everything seems good. Got the power steering hooked up pretty good. That one, same thing. Got everything tightened up. I'm going to start it and make sure everything works right. So hang tight, and we'll see if it looks good when it's running. I'd say that's a success. Nothing's falling off. Looks pretty straight. About as good as can be expected, I reckon. Well, let's go ahead and get the radiator in. I've got this beautiful, beautiful radiator from Holley. Straight from Holley themselves. And didn't break the bank. I'm not going to say it was super cheap, but I'm going to say it was a good value. Like that. They packed it well, got here in one piece. And it even came with this nifty plastic bag that I can, use again for something else, like an engine. Look at that. That is beauty-us. And I think I'm going to go ahead and install it with all these little plugs in place. And then I'll pull them off when I get in there, because, yeah, that's not too hard. Make sure it all fits good. It looks perfect. Oh, I forgot. We have a bent mount here and a missing piece of rubber. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to bend it back to where it needs to be. I'm going to put some cushioning in there so that the aluminum's not chafing up against the metal. And we'll get that to going, okay? I don't know about you all, but water pump pliers are some of my favorite tools for everything. And I don't know if, I've always thought this was a very strange factoid. The reason they call them water pump pliers is because they resemble the old style water pumps back in the early days, the ones you had to pump to get the water out. And some people call them channel locks. These are actually Knipex brand. They're about 20 years old too. But in the old days, we just called them water pump pliers, and that's why, because they look like old-fashioned water pumps. So there you go, a little factoid for you. I'm going to get in here and I'm going to bend these brackets back up the way they're supposed to be. Yeah, I'm going to try to compare it to the other one. The other one is not quite as high as that one. I think they just kind of sit up around the saddle on this thing. So that one's really, really flat. So I'm going to bend it back up to where it was. So I'm getting hung up on the horn here. I think I bent that one up a little too much. But it's just supposed to be, there we go, a little square saddle. Perfect. This one is a little rounded, so I'm going to try to take the roundedness out of it. And then I'm going to bend it back down because it's too up there, if you will. There we go. Well, it's still going to round on me, I guess. Here we go. Now, it's got a little nib going down into a hole, and as you can see, it's loose. So I'm going to tighten that up before we go any further. Oh, that's the wrong way. Got a nut on the other end. Nope, but it is definitely stripped. That one will snug up. So to fix this one right, we're going to have to go with a nut and a bolt. So let me see if it'll tighten. It won't. So let's go ahead and get a... Did I just say let's go ahead like 9,000 times? I'm going to take this one out. I've run into a lot of stripped bolts. That's probably what happened with this fan. I found out that the water pump bolts were stripped. I'm going to get either a bigger bolt that I can go in, or I'm going to, because I can get something a little bit bigger diameter and fix that, or I'm going to get a nut and a bolt. Let's go search and see what I can find. I decided to go with a nut and a bolt. Not too hard to get at this one, so I'm going to thread this one down in there. Ooh, this is bigger than the nut I grabbed's a little bit big to go in that hole. Oh, I'll beat it. See if I can get her to screw down in there. Nope, didn't want to cooperate. Well, back to the drawing board. Now you can use rubber strips or whatever just to cushion this. I'm going to use a tape. It's called mastic. It's actually a product used for HVAC, which is, you know, air conditioning stuff. And it's basically used to insulate. And it's real super sticky. It's thick, soft. It is tin on one side, but it's soft. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a strip, which I think, yeah, I should be able to just cut it right out of here. Just going to cut out a piece. Sheesh. See how gummy it is? And it's got a backing on it you got to peel off, which I just peeled half of it off by pulling it off the roll. Pull the rest of it off. And then I'm just going to stick it on that saddle from front to back. Now it wasn't quite long enough, so I'm going to put another piece on there. The idea is to protect that radiator. You know, we don't want that. We don't want steel against the aluminum on the radiator. So I'm actually going to put one more piece for a little cushioning. Better safe than sorry. And that should be plenty thick enough, I would think. And then also I have this piece that came from, you know, this is what holds the radiator in. Alright? And now it fits on there pretty snug. Actually, it fits on there very snug. But I'm going to go ahead and put some of this on there as well. And I might have to clean it up a little bit. Now I'm going to go clean this up on a wire brush and then put a little bit of this on there, and that'll again keep this from chafing against the radiator. Not the most beautiful cleanup job, but I preserved the paint, got some corrosion and rust and ish. That makes like no sense. But anyway, I'm just going to see what length I need because I want to go across the whole thing. Cut that across here. Peel the backing, which isn't always the easiest thing to do. That worked out pretty good. Made me a liar. Just going to run this stuff right up the middle. Should I? Wait a minute. No, I think I'm going to have to do two pieces. It's not. Let's just do it this way. I'll do two small pieces. I don't know that it's going to be able to fit there because it fits pretty snug. So we're just going to put a thin piece on there. And then once I get this on here, we're going to go ahead and install the radiator. Yeah. the excess that I got from these and put it in here. Thank God it'll be pretty. Ooh, sticky. Man, it's sticky. Look at that. Can't get it off my fingers. Alright. So I just need one more piece, and I've got a piece right here. Run that off of here. Just run it up the middle. Golly, it's sticky. Here we go. This will all be stuck to the bottom of my shoes later. Time to put the radiator in. This is the time we've all been waiting for. This car has had more stripped bolts and stuff that I had to fix before I could put this in. And there we go. Oh, great. That saddle is right by the neck, but it's not rubbing that I can tell. So what is that? Okay, that's nothing. It's hitting right here. I don't like that. And this is going to go right here. That's going to work out just well. There it is. Okay, this is going to go right here. Well, this radiator is low for this. Like this, because it's supposed to have a... It's going to go just like that. It's supposed to have a rubber in here, I guess. Let me see if I've got one of those laying around. Or I can smash it down or whatever. This radiator fits perfect. It ain't going nowhere. But I am going to put... I'm going to put a little piece of... I don't even know why that's flared out like that. I think I'm going to hammer that back down. I don't know why somebody did that. That's bent. That's not factory. I'm going to bend this piece down. You probably can't see it, but it's flaring out. And it's actually hitting the radiator right in the seam here. And there's no need for that, because if I get rid of that, this radiator will hold with this thing and it won't go anywhere. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to have to get out the old trusty hammer and fix on that. Alright. This is the one thing when you're working on older cars, folks, let me see if I can do it with a plier, that way I won't do less damage. You don't know what other people have done in the past. There we go, that's bending easy. There we go, get that out of the way. And other people have banged things up to fit things, because the radiator that was in this wasn't the right one. I don't know what it was at. I mean, it worked, don't get me wrong. And all the bolts were stripped. I don't know if the guy was just ham-handed and over-tightened everything, or don't really know what the deal was. We bent all that back. There we go. Now, we got some wiring going on here, but we can probably leave that there. And let's go ahead. Oh, we got a radiator cooler here we got to deal with too. And let's see. I think I want to wire that a little differently than it was, because it's kind of, again, like everything else, it was kind of shoemakered in here. Let's see. Get some zip ties and Here we go. Now it doesn't touch anything. It'll be pretty solid in there. It seems like it's a little short, doesn't it? There's trying to see if there's, maybe I should bend this down a little. I mean, it's holding it. She's in there, but I don't believe she's going to go anywhere. But I think I am going to bend it down just a tidbit. Of course, that sticky stuff's holding it on there. But I'm going to bend this a little bit to extend this lip down a little bit. We finally got this to fit good. It looks a little weird because this radiator is definitely lower profile than the one that was in it. Somebody has modified, put a different radiator in this at some point, or maybe the stock radiator, maybe this one's a little bit shorter than the original. I don't know, but it fits perfect. I just had to modify this bracket a little bit, just bent it down, kind of reshaped it a tiny bit, and now I'm gonna have to zing this in here. She ain't rubbing nowhere. She's firm in the saddles on the bottom. Take my little, whatever these things are, these little covers off of here. Now this has a trans cooler, but since he has an outside trans cooler, we're not going to use it. So we're just going to leave them out. All we're going to do is hook up our hoses. This one's easy. Put it right on here. Oh, that is just perfectamundo. Okay, well, maybe almost perfectamundo. Gotta get a screwdriver, loosen this clamp up a little bit, and then I gotta get the bottom hose. That's gonna be a fun one because this is the one I bought. This is the one I have. Looks the same, right? Yeah. Nope. What I'm gonna have to do, I'm going to make this one out of that one. But this one has to be a little bit longer, so I'm going to measure, see how much longer it's got to be. And then we'll do a little cutting, fitting. You can go this way too, I guess. Yep. Go from there. So let's go ahead and get this one tightened up, and then we'll start working on this one. I'm going to start by marking where they need to be. This one is going to be right where it is. So we're just going to make that mark. This one I want a tad longer, so I'm going to cut it right up here because it busted this hose just a bit short. And I put this one back on just to see. With this new radiator, I could actually make this one work. But we're going to go ahead and cut this one. You're going to love the way I cut hoses because I know I'm a little overkill, but you're going to love it. Granted, it's a little overkill, but it sure makes it fast and easy. So I just turned my saw upside down. And this one I want to kind of cut straight here, so. Nice clean cut. This one, cut right here. Uh-oh, that one wasn't as clean. I'll have to trim it a little bit. I like to put the clamps on loose, they're on there, they're not snug or anything, back a little bit so that they're already on the hose. That way I don't have to worry about losing them. Now the fun part is getting this on. These are always a nightmare trying to get these on here. Oh, I probably should have put it on the lift. I'm going to have to get, what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat it up a little bit, and I'm also going to put some lubricant on here to help slide it over there. And a little bit of dishwashing liquid. I'm going to put it on my fingers, and I'm going to lubricate the water pump housing. Get it all nice and slippery. You don't want to put it on the hose, because if you do that, And the hose is going to be slickery. So, and this is, whoop, I got a little on the belt. That's not good. Alright, now she's like slickery. And this is just a cup that I stole from the trash that it was for wing sauce, like some ranch dressing or something. So you don't got to get fancy. Okay, heated the hose up a little bit. I got the water pump all nice and slickery. I'm going to see if we can get this thing to go on here. Oh, I'll be. That went on a lot easier than I expected it to. Wow, and she is all the way up there too. Well, I must say, that was much easier than I expected. So I'm just going to button this up. I'm just going to fill the radiator with water for now to test for leaks. And then if everything works out, I'm going to go ahead and open up the petcock, drain it all back out. We'll put in some antifreeze and some distilled water, and that'll be that. So let's get the hose. Turn it on. Now, well, it's not coming out yet. There we go. Just going to show you something. Come on. Here we go. Come on. Pump a little more. There we go. Alright, you'll notice I don't have it on very hard. I might even turn it down a little bit more. What my object is I want to run the car with this running, open the petcock, and kind of circulate it a little bit at first. So we'll put this in. I'm actually going to turn it down a little bit more. This is how I flush a radiator. Now this is a brand new radiator. Probably shouldn't need flushing. But on the flip side, the engine, it flushed itself pretty good, I guess, when the fan blew and the radiator had a big hole in it. But I want to go ahead and start the car, start circulating this water around, and just kind of make sure the whole cooling system is healthy before we. And once it's full, I'm going to go ahead and cap it, let it heat up, and see if there's going to be any leaks. I don't know if she's got what she's got for a thermostat. But I'm going to let it run till the thermostat opens. Test the pressure system. No leaks. We'll fill her up with the good stuff. Well, here we go. She's holding about 180. I don't know if you can see that. There's kind of a glare on it. There we go. She's holding it about 180-ish, maybe a little less. 160, 175. So I'm going to call it good. Gonna put some antifreeze in it. I got some distilled water. This is the super strength stuff. I don't mess around with that 50-50. I don't like paying for water. So I'm just gonna pour it just gently in here because the stuff's expensive. I'm gonna put a gallon of this in, followed by a gallon of water. Once it looks full, start the car up, let it circulate, keep adding as needed. Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, stupid idiot. Left the petcock open. Ah, I'm an idiot. Always got to mess up at least once. But left the petcock open, lost a bunch of what I just put in. It's a nice pretty color, and that's great on the head. I'm glad I noticed before I finished pouring the whole gallon anyway. Alright. Well, there's that one. So now let's put a little water in it. Pretty green color. Now there's probably a little bit of water trapped in the block. So that's about that. No, I don't know why. Well, maybe I should just put it up a little higher. These things should be over here. Well, then you still hit them, I'm sure. I'm going to go ahead and start it. Oh, this seems to be circulating already. This is my favorite part of any job, closing the hood and then calling the customer. This one doesn't really require a test drive because the problem was the radiator was shot and the water pump pulley went somewhere else. So we put a new water pump pulley on it, new fan on it, new radiator, new hoses, new belts, and now it runs without getting hot. That's all I really care about. If he has other issues, like drivability issues or whatever, that's not what it's here for. So it won't need a test drive for a radiator. So this is the best part. Finished. Now I'm just going to go park it and give my customer a call. I don't normally include customers' cars. Well, nope, that's a lie. I guess I do. This one especially I wanted to include because it's a pretty sweet car. You know, I've done, you know, Ford Fusions or Fiestas or, you know, it begins with an F, whatever. And I've done Ford. It seems like the customers' cars are usually Fords. Let me think. What's the other? Ford Crown Vic, Mercury Marquis-ish thing. So I do occasionally, when I do stuff for other people, I will include it. But if it's a classic car, you can bet your bippy you're going to see it. This was a lovely car. It's not something I would mind owning myself at all. The guy's wanting to drive it. He's only owned it for, I think he said he drove it. He lives maybe 4 miles, if that, down the street. And he drove it those 4 miles and it broke right here in front of my place. So the poor guy's driven his car 4 miles. And he's pushed it, one of those miles probably. So not a happy experience for this gentleman. And she's a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? She's got an attitude. She does. She sounds great. She looks great. She's just like any beautiful woman. She's got an attitude sometimes. And I'd put water in it or antifreeze in it, and she'd want to burp it back out, but yet it wasn't getting in the motor. The radiator was staying cold, it wasn't getting through the thermostat. So I had to sit there and burp the cap a little bit. Didn't show you all that because I kind of took a bath. I wish I had now because it would have made good video. But it was cold water. But anyhow, I burped it by just burping the cap, letting the pressure, you could hear it gurgling, you know. And eventually I got it burped up so that she, you know, left the cap off, let it circulate for a while until she started to overflow. And that was good. So now she's working fine again. And I'm just going to park it now. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe if you haven't already. If you have already subscribed, rock on. You're awesome. Love my subscribers. Try to take care of you guys. If you make comments, I'll try to fulfill them. Music. I don't think there's going to be any in this video, but some of y'all have said maybe the music was a little too hard, so I'm going to try to tone it down a little bit. But if you disagree, by all means, say nope, pick it back up again. I get comments, people like it, people that think it's a little hard, and some people that hate it. So I don't know. But there's not going to be any in this one anyway, I don't think. Maybe a little bit. But nonetheless, if you like the video, please subscribe. Hit the like button. That always makes me feel kind of, you know, warm and fuzzy inside. And share it with your friends because that helps me out. When I'm trying real hard to keep this channel going. It's kind of hard because I work a regular job, try to do this on the side, and I have a small business too. So I'm trying to do all of that at once. So it's kind of a little bit of a struggle to go ahead and keep on making videos. But I'm gonna keep doing it because I enjoy having y'all along, and I hope you enjoy coming along with me. But if you subscribe, that helps me immensely. Doesn't cost you a penny. So anyway, see ya.